Race to 5, alternate breaks. Warren Kiamco to break.
Nigel Rees from Cardiff, South Wales, gets this group match underway. A fascinating day's play ahead of us here on Judgment Day. 128 men started out 4 days ago. 64 will be packing their bags tonight.
Very soft break employed by Warren Kiamco, and it's an effective one. The yellow one has gone straight into the side pocket. The white getting kissed a bit there, but there's an open shot on the 2 and a pretty open table at his mercy.
That 9 ball didn't move. Pretty much the perfect break as far as Kiamco would be concerned.
Yes, no real problem areas at all. This TV table has been breaking fairly easy. And Steve Davis told me the other day that you really don't need a big break to get the job done here on this table number 1.
He's going for the rest. Some players do not like using this little device, but Kiamco certainly doesn't have any problem with it, and he's got position as well.
Warren Kiamco has struggled in his previous appearances at the World Pool Championship, and some of those can be attributed to his health problems. He does have an ulcer problem that's caused him to lose quite a lot of weight, but he seems to be in pretty good health now. And he struggled earlier on in the week adjusting to his shaft, which he had thinned out just a bit, but he told me earlier this morning that he's very comfortable with it now and that he's in top form.
Chow is on board, but is he going to get a look at that yellow? I think there's a nice little channel there for him.
Chow employing a harder break, getting the corner ball, and a shot on the 1.
Nicely in position for the 2, just a touch near the rail, but I don't think that'll bother him too much.
Well, there are 2 things about this shot. He's near the rail and he's very straight on the 2. So unless he has a bit more angle than I think, he may have to just leave the white there in the middle of the table and take this long 3. So he's just leaving it there and he's going to accept what the table is giving him.
Nicely played, dead on the money. That should be the hard work done for this rack.
Yes, it seems he'll just dribble this white forward and try to take the green 6 maybe into the side pocket if it goes. If it doesn't go there, he'll just take it in the lower corner pocket. It appears to me by the way he's played that he's favoring the corner pocket. No, on second thought, he looks like he's just going to snick this into the side, play the white to the center of the table. Ideal position for the brown 7 next.
That's exactly what he's done. of these players that works at his own pace. He doesn't waste time. Chow, unlike some players you think could probably do to speed their game up a little bit. No names, of course. I think we all know who they are. Chow doesn't hurry, but he certainly doesn't waste his time either. If the shot's there, he lines it up and makes his move. And just like Warren Kiamco, he too is profiting from a good break. And just like Warren Kiamco, he's taken it the distance. He's got a couple, he's got 3 down. And look at that, the 1 has fallen nicely for him.
Good strong break. Tried to go for the 1 into the side pocket. It doesn't fall, but he has a good scatter. And another opportunity here to clean up for Warren Kiamco. I haven't seen it yet, Nick, this year, but wouldn't it be great to have a perfect match where every player breaks and runs out? That would be fantastic.
Well, we came very close last night, in fact. Park, the Korean, lost 5-4, and only because he got an awful in-off from one of his breaks. That was it. Every other rack went with the cleanup. That's as close as we've come. Well, Warren's a little bit unhappy about something there.
Yeah, he's rather straight on this 4, which means that when he pots this 4, the white is going to be near the rail. It'll be a lot harder to move it away from that rail, but it shouldn't bother him too much because there's a simple straight shot on the 7. All he has to do is dribble this forward a little bit. Either that or he jacks up and plays a stop shot. And he'll have perfect position on the 9.
Well, as we expected, we're seeing some high-class 9-ball here. As impressive as ever. He really has set the template for all that have followed him in Chinese Taipei, hasn't he? You don't see Taiwan players showing any kind of emotion, whether it's going well or whether it's going badly. It's the old poker face, isn't it?
Very focused, very businesslike. I believe that's a part of the reason why they've been so successful. And also technically, almost all of them have very similar, very textbook technique, much like this fellow on your screen. There's a corner ball down here. The white was jostled a bit, so he's lost control of it, but he has a shot on this 1. All in all, another makeable run out for Chao Fong-Pang to ponder.
This may be the toughest shot of the rack. Not only just to make sure of the pot, which is achievable, and there is a degree of difficulty there, but then he's got to make sure he can drag it back in and go for the blue bottom right, or maybe he might even be thinking of the shortcut and go for the combination 2-9.
Yeah, his worry here will be try to avoid the other balls as he hits this 1. And he's done that by going around the 8, but instead things have not gone to plan. He could have hit that 1 with a bit of left English and taken it in between the 5 and the 7 instead, but there were balls in the way there. So he tried to go around, hit it with top left English, tried to go around the 8, but he's found an obstacle there as well, and he reluctantly goes to the jump cue. He thought he could get around that 8, but didn't quite have the spin.
Well, he won't be very happy about that, will he?
Yeah, it looks like he just tried to make contact, and he has. Although he is fortunate enough not to have left Warren Kiamco with the easiest of shots here. Plenty of angle, So you still like his chances, and there you go. You see he's drained it.
You know a lot about Filipino pool, obviously, Bob, and you certainly know Warren Kiamco very well. Would it be fair to say that his biggest problem is himself? It's his mental approach, that when he goes up against one of the real big guns, a Bustamante, a Reyes, a Chao Fong-Pang, he doubts himself that he's capable of pulling out the win.
It's possible, because he's been second to Efren Reyes twice on the Asian 9-ball tour, second also to Yang Ching-shun. And if you look at his resume, there are lots of seconds and thirds. So either his ability is only up to that level, or perhaps mentally he still has to work on it. But at any rate, I think he has the ability to go very, very far in a tournament like this. Meanwhile, he has a bit of work to do here. The white ball's going to go forward and then kick to the right of your screen. And he's done that one with aplomb.
He's played a very good match here, Warren Kiamco. Flawless thus far, and a nice easy tap in for a 3-1 lead.
As you mentioned, Nick, both of these players have already qualified for the round of 64, but there's lots more at stake.
Shot, ball in hand.
Well, everything just changed as quickly as that.
A shrug of the head from Kiamco. Let's see what happens to this white. Does it get kicked in? I don't think so. It looked like it just curved in. The spin took, and it just darted in at the last moment. So that goes down as an error.
Settle down, please.
Now both of these players, Nick, have qualified for the round of 64, but the better your record is, and the better your racks won, racks lost record is, theoretically the higher seeded you are and the lower seeded players you will meet. So it's important for both of these players that they play well, so that in the round of 64 they'll be playing players who perhaps are not at the best form or don't have that much confidence because they haven't won too many matches.
Yes, it's a lot more than just going through the motions for these fellas. As you say, Bob, they're looking for seeding. And there's also a little bit of a psychological thing going on as well, isn't there? These two guys may meet. You may get to the last 8 and see these two fellas meeting, and just to win the psychological duel here, just give you a little bit of an edge.
Yes, it's happened many times in the World Pool Championship that players who are in the group stages together have met again further down the road. Meanwhile, this appreciative crowd liking that piece of work there by Chow to gently find position on the 7, rather on the 6, and now he just has 2 balls to go before he gets right back into the thick of things.
Well, Chow needed this, and it was a bit of frustration on his part that he just lost control of the cue ball there. He can't say it was bad luck, because it wasn't pushed in or tapped in. But Chow staring at the possibility of 4-1. We have a Taiwanese legend
Rack 7.
at the table now.
Fong-Pang Chow to break in 3 racks to 2.
Green 6 ball is down. The white is hanging over the corner pocket, but the 1 is hanging over the corner pocket, but the white apparently does not have a clear shot at this. And without any hesitation, Chao Fong-Pang is going to the short stick again to try and go airborne and try to pot this 1. He's got a lot of distance between white and the blocking ball, the pink 4, so he's got to strike this one sweetly.
You'll know if he makes it by listening to the crowd. The place will go nuts if he gets it. There's nothing like a good jump shot to get this crowd going, and when it's done by a man from Taipei, it's kind of double your money, isn't it? It's gets him every time.
Yeah, I had to take off my headset there for a moment. It was so noisy. But I just love the jump shot. I think it's one of the most exciting shots in 9-ball. And when it's executed properly, it is really a thing of beauty. A very elementary rack coming up here for Chao Fong-Pang.
Yes, the hard work's done here, isn't it, Bob? No question. You and I saw quite a bit of Chow on the San Miguel Asian Tour this year, and we talked about this, that he'd slipped out of the world's top 50, which was something of a surprise. But we saw enough of him there. I remember you and I having a conversation. I think in Hong Kong we saw him playing. We just thought, you know what, this fella seems to be coming right back into form, and that's carried over to this tournament.
Yes, he's had his problems with his health also, with hyperthyroidism for the past couple of years. But now he seems to be in very good health, and he was very, very effective in that Asian Tour. He reached the final in the Vietnam leg, lost narrowly in a very well-played match to Efren Reyes. He's really sent the message out to the world that he is back, and he's a force to be reckoned with once again.
And he's leveled this one up.
He hasn't struck it full in the face. He's played a cut break.
He's got a bit of an awkward situation there with the 1 ball and the cue ball playing kissing cousins there.
Hits the side of the 1, gets the 4. That's the corner ball, but awkward situation here. If he's really feeling adventurous here, he could even bank this 1 into the other corner pocket on the other side of the table. That's a very risky shot, though.
Is there a cut there, Bob? The finest of cuts, possibly?
There could be a cut, but if it does cut, there could be a scratch, but it's hard to say from here. And so he's not going to bother. He's just going to play a simple but very effective safety that this appreciative and knowledgeable crowd applauds.
Yeah, we've said this before, and it's worth repeating. The crowd's here to see this man, and they want him to win, but they appreciate good pool as well, no matter what the source. And then out comes Shorty again.
This is what, the 3rd time he'll be employing his jump stick. Very dangerous when you're this close to the rail. Chao Fong-Pang is putting a clinic on jumping the ball here in Taipei. Brilliantly struck jump shot, and I believe he can just slip this 2 ball into the side pocket.
And he's got enough drag there to give him a nice angle on the red 3 at the top of the table. Then he can come down and clean up the mess at the bottom of the table. And how quickly this match has turned around, Bob.
Momentum is very fickle in 9-ball, especially with an alternate break format like this. This could be the toughest shot of this rack for Chow.
Just slid that one in off the jaws, but it was good enough. Chow actually comes from the south of the island. Taipei is way to the north. And 2 months ago, Chow actually rented some property in the city of Taipei just so that his preparations for this tournament could be absolutely perfect. He wanted to be acclimatized, didn't want to have to do any traveling, just focused and concentrated everything on getting his title back. And 4 days ago, Bob, there were 5 or 6 players talked about as possible champions. This fella since then has added his name to that list.
Well, it was on that list from the very beginning, and it's certainly not going to get taken off very soon if he keeps on playing like this.
On here, Kiamco is going to be in big trouble. And I think Warren might be looking at the long walk home here.
Excellent break, powerful break. All of the balls going to the other side of the table. That tells you something about how much mustard he put on that one, Nick. And still a few problem balls, notably the 5 and the 7 that you see on their screen, but they make a pretty handy combination, so I'd be very surprised if Chao Fong-Pang did not do the job here. But he doesn't seem to be too happy with his result. There's a shot on the 2, but the next ball on is the 4, and the white is gonna have to do some boogieing to get over for position on that pink ball.
You just heard the exhalation of air from Chow. By his standards, that's an emotional explosion.
Speed control will be very important here, because the black 8 and the 9 ball are in the way of the landing area where he wants that white to be. So he's really taking his time with this shot. There you see where he wants the white to end up to take the pink 4 into the same pocket.
Good enough.
He's left himself a very thin cut on the 4. But really, that's the safe place to put the white. He could have elected to try and put the white in between 9 and 8. But that was very risky. Take a look at the bridge there. Very stable bridge by Chao Fong-Pang. Chao Fong-Pang using the rail there, hitting it at dead weight so that the object ball would just stick near that rail and eventually topple in. And now he's back in line with a simple combination, 5 to 7 coming up.
There was nothing at stake other than a little bit of pride and prestige and maybe a psychological edge here. But Chow has played this with the intensity of a knockout match, hasn't he?
Yes, really, he's not lost his focus. He's been very meticulous. His rhythm has been good. And it seems very much like he will cruise to a 5-3 victory here and go to the round of 64 with an immaculate 7-0 record.
guarantee of a very high seeding. And Warren Kiamco, who hasn't beaten this man since the Stone Ages, is probably wondering what on earth he has to do to get a win over Chao Fong-Pang. It's the magnificent 7 for Chao Fong-Pang.